Greetings and blessings. It's Lori Ann Spagna here with you today. We are in the Lion's Gate. We are officially in the August window of the only true, real Triple Stargate portal of the year. If you haven't watched my videos on this, I've been doing this every year. So we're shifting. This is the official period of time when we shift out of the 8 energetics. We begin to shift for the balance of the year after this portal out of the 8 energetics and into the 9 energetics. So first, but it peaks in this window. So we are in 8 energetics in a massive way. And so let me translate this. 8 energetics, 8 is all about leadership, contraction and expansion, worth and value, money, which is linked into worth and value. 8 can also be linked into equanimity, which is really important, worthiness, deservability. It can be linked into the energy of eternity, strength, endurance. It can also be linked into the energy of drive and ambition. And when we're talking about eternity, the eternal spirit, the eternity of who we are, it's also very linked into karma. 9 can be linked into dharma. I'm not even going to get into 9 because I'll talk about that as we move into the next portal. But what we're peaking at this year is the energy of 8 in a massive way. 8 is also linked into authorities, authority figures, leadership. So we can see like how the authority figures on Earth right now, I mean, you're just seeing authority figures, like it's just at its own crescendo at this time. And it's going to be quite intense through the balance of this year. It's peaking out right now. I don't even watch the news. I haven't watched any news programs in probably 20 years or more. But I have ears to hear. Anyone who has ears to hear or eyes to see knows that things are intense with the so-called leaders, or I would call them false authorities, in our physical world, where we've given our power away to people who were interested in serving the few to the harm to the many, right? Or, egoic structure, serving the self, service to self. That is showing up in a big way globally, right? And of course, you can look at 8 related to money as, peak issues related to the various economies of the world, which are ultimately kind of all linked in, right? I mean, if you don't know this, like the world financiers, the world richest global elites, there's only a very few of them, and they're all controlling all of the major systems. This is not a theory. This is a fact. And the richest global elites are actually at the very, very top. There's not many of them, less than 100. And it's known that they meet in boardrooms, usually in Switzerland, and they decide how the economy is going to go, right? And they decide what's going to happen and what play. So what's happening right now was decided 30 years ago. And they plan it out. And there is a service to self over the good of all mentality there. And these people are largely extremely old in years in terms of their ages. However, they have very specific bloodlines. This is not a theory. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that's peaking up during such an incredible portal as the one we are now in. And in this year, 888 is the only true Triple Stargate of the year. So everything comes to a crescendo this year, that the collective is meant to learn and see and perceive and realize, to make wiser, more evolved choices as we move forward. And I mean, you can see how the drama in a Leo window, Leos of all the signs, astrological signs, are typically the highest drama signs, high drama. The energy of Leo is high drama. We're going to see that in August. The energy of August is typically high drama. Lots of extremes, because 8 can be very evolved, very contracted, and it's always about helping us to find our way. It always is serving the greater purpose, ultimately. But this is when stuff kind of heats up, right? It's a very important time to have the support of a group, mentorship, coaching, to help navigate through these challenging times, because it is challenging right now. And yes, the energies always typically amplify, and they'll continue to amplify through the final eclipse of the year, which will be the eclipse window will be in October, and then a little bit they'll start to amplify again. They're like peaks and valleys, right? And in the 1111 Master Stargate portal of the year. So, all right, with that, I want to talk about the DNA part, why it's so important, because these are linked. Why are they linked? Because the portals are designed to bring to you a crescendo, the opportunity for your upliftment, for your elevation, for your expansion. So the experience of contraction and expansion, like an 8 has a contracted, sort of like you could envision it like an X in the middle of the 8, right? And then it opens to this wider expansion, right? And it's a constant sort of flow of expansion, contraction. So that energy will be very heightened during this window. But the idea is that it's designed to bring you into expanded states and evolved states, heightened consciousness and elevation, that's my area, right? That's my zone of genius, because that's what I'm all about, is helping evolutionary leaders to really bring forward your greatest gifts, your evolved self, that you can really shine your light in the world and be the best version of yourself, live your highest fulfillment, and bring that into the world. Now, all of this stuff is lying dormant in your DNA, which of course has the greatest solutions to your personal and professional life when that DNA is unlocked. And we unlock it during these portals where accelerated, amplified energies are available to help us up level, to help us expand, to help us be the evolutionary leaders we came here to be. So, to help us fulfill our divine missions and purposes here on Earth, Gaia, Sophia, why we're here, what we're here to do, and to bring forward our greatest gifts, our talents, our abilities, and also to really heighten our intuition and utilize our empathic sensitivities wisely, so we're not overtaxed and overdrawn on our energetic account and overstimulated, right? Those are the things that happen when we're not working with these energies. If we're not working in harmony with these energies, we get overtaxed, overstimulated, overdrawn on our energetic bank accounts. We feel depleted, drained, overworked, exhausted, stressed out, anxiety-ridden, and people have what you call explosions, like volcanic explosions erupt. And then they damage their relationships, whether it's personal or with friendships or professional, with colleagues or students. That happens if we are not working with these energies. And believe me, those, the people in my circles are working through this, right? So you're learning to utilize during these windows your intuitive gifts, talents, and abilities, and your empathic sensitivity in ways that are more good, right, and divinely aligned. The consciousness of this is stored in your DNA. The know-how of it. So you bring forward what's available to you that you've harnessed from other lifetimes or incarnations or parallel realities that's dormant and waiting for you to reclaim. And that includes your unique wisdom and guidance that you're here to bring forward, whether it's for yourself or your children, your grandchildren, or your students or your clients, or even your colleagues, whoever is in your community. And so the wisdom and the consciousness that's within you, it's far beyond the human brain. It's far beyond what the typical human brain can conceive. And this is why it's stored in the DNA, and this is why it is vibrationally, it is required for you to access it when you become vibrationally harmonious with it. That's why someone can't just turn it on just with your brain. That's why numbers on the clock that say 111, that doesn't activate your DNA. That just tells you consciousness is calling you to become more conscious, right? Or some angel or being or someone on your team may be alerting you, hey, pay attention. Pay attention to what? Something's important right now. Something we want to get through to you. Just start paying attention. But that doesn't turn on your DNA, right? So what activates DNA is being in extremely elevated frequencies and combining intention and right appropriate action. And the action is your participation, your free will in the space of heightened frequency energy, right? This is what we do in the DNA activations webinars. I do them every year on the Lion's Gate. This year is incredibly important. And I've spoken about this in previous recordings, so please, if you haven't heard it, the recordings are now on the YouTube channel. And there's some of the most recent ones that I even did one recently on my podcast. So I'm not re-saying any of those things. This is another aspect of this. This is about you claiming the solutions that you're here to bring forward. It is also about you healing and resolving the blocks or the limitations you've dealt with for most of your life, either knowingly or unknowingly. Those blocks and limitations are the things that are interfering with you living your most fulfilled life and being of service and contribution in the world the way that you're meant to, as the evolutionary leader that you're meant to be. Because you know you have something so important to offer, and you're so mission driven, and you want to make that global impact. Well, this stuff is stored in your DNA. So the traumas, the blocks, the limitations, they're in there as well. And some of those are things like, feeling like you're working 1,000,000 miles an hour and you can't keep up. Feeling like you're trying to do it all and you can't do enough. Feeling burnt out, overworked, exhausted, drained, depleted. Of course, you're an evolutionary leader. That's going to be part of what you've been experiencing. You're not meant to work that way. Feeling like it's a struggle. Oh my gosh, that is ancestral crap stored in the DNA. How many of you out there have felt the struggle? Especially in the recent years. That is just energetic. Energetic. That is not meant to be part of the human experience as we evolve into the future. But we have to clear that energy and all the ancestral programs associated with all the struggle. That is not who we truly are. And that is not how evolutionary leaders like you are meant to lead. That's not what we're here for. And an 888 Triple Stargate window is about really stepping into the new leadership. New leadership. And looking at the old leadership and saying, no thank you, no more. You can see this in the world stage. But this is about you, right? When you get your DNA activated, it's about you stepping into the leader that you're here to be and bringing forward what you're uniquely here to bring forward, which is coded into your DNA, and resolving those blocks and or limitations, including that struggle, including that perspective that you have to overwork or work, and it's never enough, including pushing yourself to the limit. Listen, I know so many amazing, high-powered, brilliant leaders like you, evolutionary leaders, including incredible entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and what they keep doing, many of us have done this, it's like buy another marketing program, get another strategy. This is not what it's about. You don't need another strategy, another marketing program, another class of telling you how to do something. You don't need another YouTube video teaching you how to do something. The doing is part of what's causing and contributing to all the struggle. What you need is to unlock and awaken your dormant potential and to heal and resolve the traumas that are stuck and stored in the corrupted aspects of the DNA, which includes some of this old ancestral program. Let's talk about some of the other things. The other issues related to deservability, worthiness, worth, value, money, equanimity. Now, one of the codes we're going to be activating, I'm really excited about, is codes of equanimity. I have done them before, but not many times. When you get codes of equanimity activated in your DNA, you start recognizing the balance between your overgiving. This is how it really served me. I was an overgiver to the nth degree. I was giving so much to my own harm and detriment. I had people in a high-level mentorship program who were completely taking it for granted, not appreciating it, not valuing it, and basically whining and complaining. There was no amount I finally realized there was nothing I could do to please those people because they were unpleasable, because I attracted that to me because of my own overgiving. I would give to my own harm and detriment. I had to reactivate recently codes of equanimity and reintegrate them. And I've done these activations lots of times for myself. And it was like that energy just slipped away, just was gone, completely gone, totally transformed. And then the balance of fair energy reciprocity, giving, receiving, exchanging fairly in ways that feel good and right, is restored. Then you get fairly compensated for what you're meant to be compensated, and it feels good and right to give. And the receiving on the other end reflects back as well. I hope this is making sense. So when you have money issues, worth and value issues, worthiness issues, codes of equanimity will really help. Not to mention, if those are your issues, activating the codes of self-worth and self-value, codes of worthiness, codes of deservability, which we're going to be doing because it's all linked to 8. Those are so important. Not to mention clearing out the old corrupted stuff that's not codes, that's not in alignment or in harmony anymore with this. We need to expunge that stuff from your programming. See, this is why mindset shifting alone is not enough. I recently was invited to be on a telesummit with a woman, a very rich woman. And her whole podcast is all about wealth and making money. And at the end of the interview, I asked her, because she charged for her podcast, to be on her podcast. It's called Pay to Play, right? And at the end of I didn't actually even sign on to her podcast yet because, honestly, to tell you the truth, it's like 20 minutes pay to play for a lot of money, and I thought it's not really worth it to me. But in any case, it didn't feel like a fair exchange, right? But for her, Anyway, I asked her, why'd you stop your coaching? She stopped her coaching. And she said, well, I just could never charge them for it. I asked her, why do you think that was? She said, I don't know. You want to know what it was? Worth and value issues. Even with all her money, her business was not thriving. She made business through real estate. She made her money through real estate. She was interested in helping people become wealthy. But she stopped her coaching program because she didn't feel comfortable charging them. Those are worth and value issues. And no amount of mindset is going to fix that. And if you have worth and value issues, even if you have money, there'll be some kind of challenge, problem, or struggle there. It's amazing how we're living. And this stuff we're unconscious of because it's so easy up until these recent years to do so much what we call carpet sweeping. Or, well, you can shift your mindset and you'll feel a little better for a little while. It'll help. But the root issues will rise up again. And the root issues are beyond the mind. This is why we do these DNA activations. This is why we clear, heal, and resolve this stuff. This is why we activate and reactivate sometimes, many times in some cases, the codes and codons that restore us to right alignment with our source, which is really divine truth, which, by the way, we have codes for that as well. When you get your codes of divine truth activated, I suppose we'll do those since I just mentioned them. Just putting that into what we'll do here. But people won't be able to lie to you as well. You'll have greater discernment. We've done divine discernment as well. We'll probably do it again. It's so important at this time when humanity is being lied to by false leaders attempting to keep us stuck in an old narrative and an old program to make us believe that it's normal to go to war and fight our brothers and sisters. That is not okay. We are here for a new paradigm where we learn, really more than just learn, where we start living in harmony with ourselves and one another. By the way, if you have health issues, if you can't live in harmony with yourself or another, the cells of your body will start to mutate and you'll develop some kind of dis-ease. And I'm not saying you can't necessarily live in harmony, but if your thoughts and your emotions and your energy is not in harmony, that will cause dis-ease and aging decay. Another reason we have codes of harmony, divine harmony. I think we'll do those too. I'm still coming together with all the codes, the specific codes, but some of them will be all of these things I'm discussing related to this 8 that I opened with, right? Equanimity, self-worth, worthiness, deservability. All of these are codes in the DNA. And when we talk about them as codes, essentially what they are is energetic consciousness that will either expand and up-level you, and that's what we activate, or will drain, deplete, and exhaust you, or keep you stuck or in some form of lack or limitation or fear. Those are what we clear, heal, and resolve. And we do them both separate sections during these activation windows. So I am inviting you, needless to say, to join me for the 888 Triple Stargate portal, August 8th, 2024. That is the date. And you can register, of course, on my website at lorispagna.com. You'll see the link. It's called Speed Activations, DNA Activations, Sacred Key Code Activations. Not only will they help you with all of these issues we've been discussing today, but they're really going to overall awaken and expand and up-level you so that you can come forward and be more of the evolutionary leader that you came here to be. And so that you can share the wisdom, the guidance, the consciousness that you are uniquely meant to share in the world. And so that you can awaken and activate that which is dormant, waiting to be revealed in you and through you and offered in this world as we as a collective elevate into this new paradigm, into this new reality where we are birthing ourselves anew, where we are allowing more of the divinity that we are to come through us and reveal itself through us It's stored in your DNA. Now, I just want to make a couple of other comments here because, of course, for those of you who know me, you know, I'm a talker, right? I can go on about this. But what I want to say is there are many of you who have come to me recently with incredible struggles, right? And that's why we want to clear this struggle out. We want to get rid of that energy entirely. You will be amazed at how much stuff is so much more easy, graceful, effortless, elegant in your life. Elegant unfoldment. There's codes of elegance for the elegant unfoldment. In fact, let's definitely, we haven't done those in, I don't know if we've ever done those, but I'm going to do them. That's related to 8, money, worth, and value, right? So we're going to do divine elegance codes. But those codes, energetically, it just allows things to flow so much more, yes, elegantly. And yes, gracefully. And yes, benevolently. And yes, easily. And that's what we want in our lives. It's not that we're not willing to work or do the work or do what it takes. It's just, we're not meant to struggle through this experience. This is ridiculous. 8 years can present that if you're in the shadow aspect, right? If you're not working with the light. When you're working with the light, which is what I do with people, then that is supposed to be removed and cleared and resolved from your field, from your energy field. Now, a couple of you this past week have come to me, some struggling with, or spouses even struggling with alcoholism or addiction. I will tell you that definitely 8 years can do that because they're bringing up the need for some kind of endurance or strength. 8 has to do with strength and endurance. And if someone has too much pain or struggle that they're not able to handle, they will fall back on some kind of addiction, whether it's shopping, spending, working, drinking, eating, deserting, right? Those are all addictions, addictive patterns. We can clear addictive patterns from the DNA. And in an activation like this one, especially this year, to get the activations associated with the 888 Lionsgate that we'll be doing, the self-worth, self-value, that's what needs to replace the addictive patterns. Addictive patterns come from, there's too much pain or too much for me to handle, so I'm going to default on some kind of obsessive pleasure or enjoyment. And trust me, I know about this. I grew up in a highly addicted family. My brother died of a drug overdose, an alcohol overdose, drug and alcohol. And I had plenty of addictive patterns in my life for many, many years that I had to clear, heal, and resolve. I mean, if you don't know my story, there was a time I was drinking 8 beers a day, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, taking tons of pharmaceutical drugs by well-meaning doctors, spending excessively to the point that I could not pay off the minimums, and I could not use the credit cards anymore. I had no money left. And, eating excessively, drinking, I said all that, sexing excessively. It was just horrible. Because I had to clear programs in my unconscious and in my own DNA associated with that were causing and contributing to those issues, that were the underlying foundational issues. So that's why I say these DNA activations are one of the most important things you can do for yourself, because not only, and by the way, if you are a mother and you have a child, or a father, and you have a child under the age 17 or under, you're going to be able to help them as well. Because, of course, we include the children. It has to be your children. Can't be someone else's children. And, of course, we also always include our animals, so they benefit as well from this work. Okay. I hope this makes sense. Please join me August 8th. I believe our start time is going to be 5 p.m. I have to check the day, which is Eastern Standard Time. A couple of people asked me that. Usually I start at 5 p.m., but if it's a weekend, it will start a little probably earlier. Let me just see if I can pull that day up. I didn't mark it on the page, but in any case, I hope you will join us. It's at, again, you can register and join us at LoriSpagna.com. You will see the drop-down link, Speed Activations, DNA, Sacred Key Code, Star Code Marking Activations. It is a webinar that is part teaching. We usually 60 to 90 minutes. There's teaching and channeling. Then there's a break, and then there is usually a 60-minute energy. It is deep energy work and activations. You know, we're waking up this dormant DNA, and we're clearing, healing, and resolving what is no longer serving us. Some of the stuff I've just mentioned. And we're very specifically going after targeted, directed energetics associated with the specific things I've just explained. I will get even more specific in the week ahead, but I wanted to record this and clarify. There are so many of you who are new to my community who may be new to this, but I will tell you your result will be accelerated transformation that is beyond anything the brain can envision or imagine. This is not mindset shifting. This is energetic transformation that frees you and liberates you from experiences you have likely lived with for your entire life and countless other lifetimes, and opens up and up-levels and expands you into a whole new state of existence that is so much more fulfilling, deeply fulfilling, rewarding, gratifying, and where others in your life as well are truly benefiting, even times when they don't even always know it. They are benefiting just by being in your presence. This happens all the time. And they'll be more drawn to you because they know that you have so much to offer them, even if they can't put their finger on it. And of course, that's good for you, good for them, the people you serve. You're an evolutionary leader, right? That's what you're here for, right? You're here for true transformation, right? And you know you've done it all. You've done it all. Vision boards and, you know, you've listened to the channelers, Abraham Hicks, you know, right? You've done the mindset coaching. You've done Reiki. You've done it. This is the deep work. This is going to take you to the next level. All right. I hope this has been helpful. I hope to see you live with me on 888, the Lion's Gate. I know you will absolutely love it and hugely benefit from it. And again, it's at LoriSpagna.com under Work with Lori, under that tab. You'll see Speed Activations, DNA, Sacred Key Code, Star Code Markings. Click on that and you will be able to register and join us. And I will be sure to put the link in below. By the way, because you're on my newsletter, you're getting this recording. This is going out to the community. It's not going anywhere else. So thank you for being here. And thank you for all the work that you do in service and contribution to your world, to the world. Thank you for being you and your magnificence, because, yeah, I only play with magnificent people. If they're not magnificent, they don't stick around for very long. So thank you for being so brilliant and so magnificent. You are that. I know you are. And I love you, and I appreciate you. I value you. And I'm wishing you your most benevolent best. Until next time, farewell for now. Bye-bye.